I am not teaching, I am publicly learning. But hi and welcome to Learning for the Life in UK test, part 505. While doing lunge training. And if you participate in the lunge training, that's at your own risk. So we will do squat, isometric exercises in squat and lunge position. Now, this new chapter here is about the welfare state. And we want to do a big one about the welfare state itself. But we want to know closely what it is. So we're going to do first one about Clement and Lee, William Beveridge, Richard Austin Butler, and Dylan Thomas. We have about Clement and Lee. Here's a little bit more written, in a way so it belongs together. He was born in London in 1883. It's not so important for the people who watch it, I think. His father was a solicitor. Clement and Lee, he studied at Oxford University and became a barrister. But then he gave this up to do social work in East London, and then he became a Member of Parliament for the Labour Party, a Labour Member of Parliament, a Labour MP. While Winston Churchill was Prime Minister from 1940 until 1945 during the Second World War, he was the Deputy Prime Minister. Deputy is the word. Deputy Prime Minister. Then that year. During the war, there were already done significant changes to the education system, but the people wanted more or wider or bigger social reforms or reforms for the social society, for the society, I think I know how to say. And so they elected a Labour government, and now Clement Lee, as a Labour Member of Parliament, Winston Churchill was Conservative, became new Prime Minister. When he was Prime Minister from 45 until 51, Winston Churchill was from 40 until 45, so not 6 years again. That's good. Yes, I found out that is the problem that I have with the Crimean War, 1853, 1856. I'm not even sure what I said in the video about the Crimean War, which I showed. Because I can't decide if the Crimean War lasted for 3 or 4 years. 1853, 1856, I was 3 or 4 years. That's a problem. And the other thing is that I'm maybe confusing it with the Vietnam War. I think I said that already 100 years later. But the main problem is I can't decide if the Crimean War lasted for 3 or 4 years. That's a big problem. Do I have the numbers in my head? Now he was then Prime Minister 45-51, and he also led the Labour Party for 20 years. During the time he was Prime Minister, under the Minister of Health Henry Devan, the NHS, the National Health Service, was established, which guaranteed a minimum standard or minimum amount of health care or of care for the health for everyone, for free, at the point of use. And also a system of social security was brought into effect, was done, known, or with a phrase maybe said, from cradle to the grave, so from the cradle to the grave, protected. Things were nationalized, for example, coal, steel, railway, gas, water and electricity. Some of these, and also other things, many of which were proposed in the Beveridge report under William Beveridge, in which William Beveridge wrote down what the country might do to fight the 5 giant evils: want, disease, idleness, squalor, and something else. Want, disease, ignorance, squalor, and idleness. Want, disease, ignorance, idleness, ignorance, and squalor. I want to mess that point probably up, and I have to do it completely again. That's the end. So the end of my presentation, I'm going to have to do it completely again. But maybe I'm going to say it a bit loose and something else. Okay, let's try to shoot a video about Clement and Lee. We don't have that much time left. So I have now a second camera started, and on that I try to make a little presentation about Clement and Lee with the facts we have here. With what do I start? I said I'm not going to start with the birth years. Okay, he studied at Oxford. Clement and Lee studied at Oxford University, and then he worked as a barrister, but he gave it up to do social work in the East End of London. He became a member of Parliament for the Labour Party. During the war, when Winston Churchill was Prime Minister from 1940 until 1945, he was the Deputy Prime Minister. Then, during the Second World War, there were already done reforms in the educational system, but then the people wanted wider social reforms, and they elected a Labour government. Winston Churchill was Conservative, Cleveland Attlee was Labour, so he was now the new Prime Minister from 45 until 51. While he was Prime Minister, a lot of things were done to make the welfare state. For example, under the Minister of Health, Henry Nye Bevan, the NHS, the National Health Service, was established, and that guaranteed for everyone from the point of use for free at least a minimum amount of healthcare. Also other things were done, for example, the nationalization of steel and coal, and of gas and water and electricity, and of the railway. Then, again, a conservative government was Mr. Totally, because I was all the time wondering about it. There was something else. Not only the pension thing, also the other thing. I wasn't concentrated. He is but not written. He has just written about minimum of health, national system of benefits. The thing about protecting women who were separated and divorced, that was somewhere else. That is the thing. And I was thinking all the time about it. That was at the beginning of the 20th century. Okay, here just NHS, cradle to the grave, nationalization. And then I wanted to end with William Babbage. Okay, again. Cleveland Attlee studied at Oxford University. After that, he became a barrister, but he then gave it up to be a social worker in the East End of London. And he became then eventually a member of Parliament for the Labour Party. From 1940 until 1945, Winston Churchill was Prime Minister, and Cleveland Attlee was the Deputy Prime Minister. So from 1940 until 1945, Cleveland Attlee was the Deputy Prime Minister. Then in 1945, the people wanted more change. Already during the wartime, there were done reforms to the education system, but they wanted more change to create something like a welfare state, more social reforms. And so they voted a Labour government. Winston Churchill was a Conservative, Cleveland Attlee Labour. So now Cleveland Attlee became the new Prime Minister, which he was from 1945 until 1951. Already during the wartime, there was the Babbage Report commissioned, and in that there was William Babbage, and he wrote down 5 things which should be changed in the country or fought by the new government. Idleness, ignorance, squalor, want and disease. And that report said these 5 things should be fought. And that was when started to do. While Cleveland Attlee was Prime Minister, there was the Minister of Health, Henry Nye Bevan, and under him the National Health Service was established, the NHS. And that guaranteed for everyone for free, from the point of use, a minimum amount of healthcare. Also, an overall protection from the phrase cradle to the grave was introduced, so that everyone is protected from the cradle to the grave. And also things were nationalized, for example, the water, gas and electricity supply, or coal and steel and railway. And that is according to the Life in UK Test Handbook on the pages 52 and 53. What was at the end? I have to make a little bit longer break at the end. Working conditions improved. Yes, okay, I said so much. I think I said it all. The working conditions, but now I'm going to stop the second camera. And we're going to do the lunch training in one through. If you're just here to learn about William Babbage, you can go directly to the next part. We're going to do the lunch training now in one through. If you participate, but it's at your own risk. We're bringing the leg up and pointing the foot. We're bringing the other leg up and pointing the foot. And we're doing the trunk ignite at the beginning. Down. Out. And out. Again in. And out. Breathe in and close the legs. And out. And First exercise, we're doing the 6-pack squat squeeze. We're going into quarter squat and we're pressing against the top of the leg with on one side only. And we're doing the same now on the other leg. We're going down into half squat and we're pressing now on the middle of the upper leg. And on the other side. We're going down into 3/4 squat and we're pressing close to the knee. And on the other side. We're going over to the fastest shelf water pot. We're going down into 3/4 squat and we're pressing against the knee. And we're going towards the knee. Press against the knee. And go towards the knee. Again. And again. And last two. Down into full squat, the propeller. Up to the outside, over to one side, press against the leg, look up to the other. Have a little bend in the elbow. And in the middle, over to the other side, press against the leg with a little bend in the elbow, look up to the other. Up into the middle and up. Now do lunges. 90 degree lunge, taller for the back, press from the inside against the knee. Over to the other side, 90 lunge and press from the inside against the knee. Over to the other side, 90 135 degree lunge. And now taller for the back and pull as the leg up. Over to the other side, 90 degree 135 degree lunge, taller for the back and pull the leg up. Over to the other side, 150 degree lunge, 90 150 degree lunge, taller with the back and pull at the top of the shin bone. And over to the other side, 90 degree 150 degree lunge, taller with the back and pull up at the top and pull at the top of the shin bone. And last exercise, the REG jumper. Into full lunge, taller with the back and pull at the top of the shin bone. And to the other side. Full lunge, taller with the back and pull at the top of the shin bone. And we're stretching. One leg with the heel onto the ground and we're pulling the toes a bit up. The other leg with the heel onto the ground and pull the toes a bit up. We're doing the crib in the morning. Legs shoulder wide apart. Breathe in, lift the arms up. And out, lean back and open the chest to the sky. Again, in the arms up. And out and lean back. In, close hands and feet. Breathe again in. Out, lean back. Reach and bend. In into the middle. And out and lean again back. Again, in into the middle. And we're doing the down diving close and go down. Bend the left leg. And now bring the heel of the right foot to the right and turn the body to the right. Now bring the toes of the right foot to the right and turn the body to the left. Both legs straight and adjust down. Now bend the right knee and go with the heel of the left leg to the left and turn the body to the left. Now bring the toes of the left leg to the left and turn the body to the right. Both legs straight again. Breathing in and doing the up diving swan. Close the hands and lower the hands slowly down. I'm going to do the trunking head again. Let's do it, let's try it. What will happen? Breathing in and going down. And out. And in, yes, it's better to do it. And out. One last round. In. Out. Breathe in and close the legs. and out. That was lunch training. I thank you very much and until next time.